Here, I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay. So, welcome to you. We're going to be talking about your breast health this evening. And although we're not going to be talking about breast cancer, I do want to start out with some statistics that you may be unaware of. And I want you to be sure to watch to the end because I have specific gifts that I want to be share with those of you who are taking the time to watch. You're not going to want to miss this. And if you've never joined me before, my name is Amy Miller. I'm a wellness advocate and a health coach that helps families bring healing to their lives and to their families so that they don't have to worry over all the things. And instead, they can spend time with their family and enjoying them. And so we're going to talk tonight about some of the missing links in your breast health, including iodine. But I want you to pay attention here because I'm going to spend a brief amount of time with some statistics. But most of the information I'm going to share with you tonight, you're probably completely unaware of. And so I want you to have this information. Okay. So briefly, I want to share some breast cancer stats with you. So 1 in 8 women in the U.S. will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. And this does not include things like fibroadenomas, fibrocystic breasts, dense breasts, all those diagnoses. Those have a tendency towards developing that, but that does not include how many women are dealing with those issues. And I don't know, tell me, I think a lot of us as women, especially, we think we've made great strides in this area through the pink ribbon trend or the cancer walks. But however, most of us have no idea the information I'm going to share with you tonight. And this isn't going to be about cancer. Tonight is going to be about how to have health and specifically have healthy breasts for men and for women. A lot of the information I'm going to share with you tonight is going to pertain to women, but men are not exempt from this. And a lot of the information can translate into support for men as well, and helping with this issue as well. So I've been having conversations left and right with people who are local to me now. You guys know I travel full time. So local to me right now is the San Marcos, New Braunfels, Lockhart, Texas areas in Central Texas. But I've been talking with a lot of women in these areas face to face. I've been polling people online. I've been chatting via text. And I've been getting questions from a lot of you over this time and over the past year about this topic. And so I want to address some of these things. So we're going to start with some questions, and then I'm going to address some of the topics related to those questions. Okay. So number one, we're going to start with something that we're already all familiar with, and that's mammograms. But what I'm going to talk to you about are some alternatives to mammograms, because some people ask about that. And so I want to share with you some alternatives. Even though this is not going to be the complete star of the show tonight, I want to address kind of some comprehensive areas about our breast health because they all tie in together because we're holistic beings. Okay. So, and many of us are familiar when we think about stats like that I just shared with you, you think about mammograms, right, as the way to address that. Okay. So I hope to open your eyes to some new things tonight, but if we have learned anything in the last 2 years, I hope we've begun to learn that we need to be our own health advocates. And the traditional healthcare industry is less concerned, or dare I say, not very knowledgeable about preventing disease and is only concerned with treating it. And so we're going to talk about healthy things. But one of the things that we talk about are some alternatives to mammograms, and one of those is thermography. I'm going to talk about some alternatives that are a little away from the norm. So thermography, I'm curious how many of you have ever had a thermogram. I have had multiple times. So thermograms or thermography uses thermal imaging, so heat, to detect existing or potential issues within the body. And it actually can be used all over the body, not just the breast area. And what these images do is they detect small variances in temperature, which could be a sign of growths, okay? Or where potential growths may involve in the future. And that's because there's more blood flow at the site of those areas. So a warmer part might indicate a problem area. Now, mammography has been kind of the go-to diagnostic tool since the 1970s, right? But typically those are recommended for women starting around age 40, and younger women are typically not recommended to get those. Well, we're going to talk about some differences there with that. So a couple of concerns about mammograms is, number one, they actually may not reduce deaths. For every 2,000 women that are invited for screening throughout 10 years, one of them will avoid dying of breast cancer, and 10 healthy women who would not have been diagnosed if there had been a screening would have been treated unnecessarily. So there's also some risks with mammograms, potential risks from radiation exposure. False positives are very possible. False negatives are also possible. In fact, 1 in 5 women will get a false negative. And those negatives are more likely to occur in breasts that are dense, which I've had people asking me questions about that as well. So some benefits to thermography is younger women can get a baseline exam even as early as 25. It's much less invasive than, there's no squashing involved. Any women who have experienced that, you're like, oh, that in itself alone would be worth looking into. It can, many times it can detect problems much earlier than a mammogram can, which goes back to my practice, and what we promote is being proactive about your health. So if you knew that there could be a problem 5-10 years from now, you could take a more proactive approach rather than being reactive in finding a problem with the mammogram and now, oh, it's too late, or now we have to be much more aggressive with things. It's much better if you have dense breasts. A thermography can be much better because it can detect those areas. It can also detect cells in the armpit area. So mammograms are notoriously bad at catching anything in this armpit area, which there are lymph nodes in your armpit area. And we're going to talk about the lymph nodes and your lymphatic system in just a minute. So plus thermography is much safer in the sense that there is no radiation exposure. There's nothing that is harmful that you're being exposed to during that time. Another alternative to mammograms would be a free resource like self-exams. Now, I would recommend you doing this in conjunction with another tool, but ideally on day 8 of your cycle, or if you are no longer having a cycle or you don't have a cycle, at least pick a consistent day of each month so you'll have a baseline and you can better notice any changes that are happening in your breast tissue. So, okay, so questions, go ahead and put them below if you're watching on Telegram, or email me. You can email me or text me. I will leave those. Actually, if you're watching this via a friend, you can email me at amy@3lifeessentials.com, the number 3lifeessentials.com, or you can send me a text at 832-509-5093. So let's talk, and actually stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you some resources at the end. And one of those is going to include a thermography resource in case you're looking for one. So the other tool I like to use as far as education about your breast health is through the AO Scan mobile. So this tool is what I use for bioresonance or frequency feedback. And it can also give you, I would never use this tool alone, but this in conjunction with some of the other tools that I just mentioned can really go a long way in helping you know and be better knowledgeable about what's going on with your body and that area of your body. So, okay, let's talk about, I've had the question asked me, what products harm your breast health? And this is a really great question. And I'm also going to throw in some information that even if those of you who are really knowledgeable about these kinds of things, you may be surprised to learn. So when we talk about products that are harmful to your breast health, you got to start out by cleaning your cabinets. Like start cleaning out the cabinets, your medicine cabinet, the kitchen cabinet, the cleaning cabinets, because most of the products that you have in those areas are harmful to your breast health. Phthalates, heavy metals, antiperspirants, BPA, please limit your use of plastics. If you can use ceramics, stainless steel, glass, even in our RV, yes, we limit our use of plastics. So if you're still using Tupperware or plastics to store all of your food and things like that, you've got to cut those down because most of those are just not a healthy exposure for any of your hormones, really. Methylene chloride, which is in most aerosols like paints, insect sprays, any of your hormone replacement therapy. And I've had, raise your hand if you've ever said, oh my gosh, it's like everything causes cancer. Have you ever said that or heard somebody who has? Yeah, I think I've said that at some point in my life as well. And in many ways, it's true. However, I have been able to replace most of those things that are harmful in that way and that are harming my breast health and have alternatives that don't cause that. Okay. So if you're getting frustrated and thinking, well, then I would have to just throw everything out and I wouldn't have anything to use. That's not true. Reach out to me. I'm happy to walk you through some things that you can do to shift in those areas in your kitchen cabinet, your cleaning cabinets, your medicine cabinets. So if this is an area where you need to shift, reach out to me. Okay. Now, when talking about products that harm your breast health, I want you to also ask yourself, what about your clothing? Your clothing, or more specifically, your undergarments. So if you'd like this resource in the Dressed to Kill book by Sydney Ross Singer, they conducted a study in 1995, and the women studied who wore bras 24 hours a day were 125 times more likely to have breast cancer compared to bra-free women. Now, before you freak out, I want to show you, like right now, I am bra free. Okay. Now, it is possible. So let's talk about some things. And if you want to see if you want to see a lot more about their research by Sydney Ross Singer and Soma Grismeyer, they're a husband and wife medical anthropology team. And they really studied anthropology and people and how, if you think about in many cultures, women are bra free and they don't have the same instances of breast cancer. And why is that? Well, remember I mentioned lymph nodes? You have some major lymph nodes right under that breast area. And if you are cutting that area off in the body with wires or spandex, things like that, you are cutting off that flow. And we're going to talk in just a minute about that lymphatic system. So stay tuned with me on that. But issues are found with wired bras, push-up bras, girdles, spandex. So there are alternatives. You can find things like Kubi bras. If you're watching and you have found a great resource for a bra that does not have those things and is much better for your breast health, share it with me. I would love to have these extra resources. Or you could go braless. Now, if you're thinking like, I'm larger breasted, there's no way I could go braless. Why don't you just start with, maybe if you have a tendency to wear a bra at night, maybe just try at night going braless, or even just at home. There are ways to give that part of your body some freedom. Okay. Now, there's some other lifestyle factors that can help and or harm your breast health, but I want us to move on to the next section, and we're going to back up to some of those toxic chemicals that we just brought up and talk about the lymphatic system. Okay. So we've mentioned lymph nodes a couple of times here. So we've got to address this area. So this is the part of your body that acts really as like your body's sewage system. Okay. So it's filtering your blood, and it plays a huge role in your body's immune responses, filtering out toxins, transporting and removing waste products and abnormal cells from the lymph, which are fluids in your body. And those lymph nodes, which are just under the skin, they're not very far under, they're just under the skin. They're bean-shaped glands, and you have some that are right under your armpits. You have some right under the breast area. You have some behind the ears or in this neck area. You have some behind the knees. You have them different parts of the body, and they help filter out viruses and bacteria and fungi, and they really need your help to be stimulated. They don't have their own valve system, so they need you to help move them and get them flowing. Okay. So, most of that is done through moving the body. And the things that I have seen the most effective support in supporting your lymphatic system is rebounding or jumping. Now, if you're somebody like me who doesn't usually have access to a rebounder or a trampoline, you can also do dry brushing, or some would call this lymphatic massage. I have a tutorial on our website, on our blog, that shows you exactly how to do this. And here's my dry brush right here. I love using some specific oils in this process, like cypress specifically, or pink pepper specifically, tulsi, frankincense. These are all excellent to use with this process. Another thing that can help stimulate your lymphatic system, and you can use one or a combination of these. I actually use almost all of these things that I'm talking about, but the Ion Cleanse by AMD detoxification foot baths, those also will help stimulate your lymphatic system. I can give you resources for finding someone in your area, or even getting your own home system for that. Even castor oil packs on the liver will help with that process. Or you could even go deeper with a parasite cleanse, coffee enemas. There are a lot of ways that you can help this body's process. And honestly, this body, the lymphatic system, needs more and more support the more that we are bombarded by toxins in our environment. We can reduce the number of toxins that we have around us, but some of them are unavoidable. And so our body can get really overloaded very quickly if we do not do some of these things. Okay. We're going to move on to the star of the show. So this question was asked to me as well. How do I help reduce discomfort with my breast tissue? And what is suggested to help manage growth of fibroids? And someone else asked me about dense breasts, which this kind of plays into the same topic. And this is actually something that I remember back in one of my first exams that I had, probably as a 19 or a 20-year-old. I remember having an examination, and I remember being told that I had dense breasts and or fibrocystic. But I never was told what I could do about them or how they could impact my health or if there was even a problem. I was just told that it may be harder for mammograms to read in the future. That's the kind of support I received from traditional healthcare. And I want to give you more than that. I want to help you be empowered to take control of your own body and your own health and your own future to do something about these things. And one of the missing links with that is iodine. So what if there was one nutrient that desensitized estrogen receptors in your breast? What if it also reduced estrogen production in overactive ovaries? What if it also reduced fibrocystic breasts, which often precedes the first thing we talked about earlier? What if it slowed down cell division? And what if it caused more cell death than even the chemo drug fluorouracil? What if it also helped with your detoxification process, reduced brain fog, and helped your thyroid be healthy as well? What if you needed to know about that? Yes. Well, this is why we're going to talk about Lugol Solution Iodine. Now, this is not Lugol Solution here, and Lugol Solution is actually not a brand. It's actually a formula of a solution of ratios with water, potassium iodide, and iodine. And you can't go off of what the FDA recommends, because what we're seeing if you want more resources, you can look at Dr. David Brownstein's book, Iodine, Why You Need It and Why You Can't Live Without It. He addresses things like fatigue and detoxification, autoimmune concerns, and thyroid health in this book. And he has seen that the FDA recommendations are not sufficient for most people. Now, the reason we are deficient in iodine is many reasons. One of them goes back to some of the things we've talked about before with our soil not being sufficient anymore because of the things that we've done to our soil. And so many times you're just not getting what you need in your diet. And so, but there's many reasons why. And just kind of as a stat for women who were having some painful breast tissue or accompanied fibrocystic concerns, Lugol's iodine solution improved symptoms in more than 50% of the women who took 6 milligrams of iodine for 6 months. And that is well above the FDA recommendations. And in the iodine investigation project, depending on the kind of iodine agent used, their painful breast symptoms resolved anywhere between 24 hours to 2 months from then. So now it does take some time because this is a supplement that your body is beginning to absorb. But I use a 3-part iodine strategy because you can have some side effects from taking iodine, especially if you increase dosage too quickly or if you're not taking some companion supplements that your body needs as well. But we work on detoxifying the body, bringing healing to the body, and feeding your tissues with iodine and some companion nutrients. But only a month and a half later, after using Lugol's iodine protocol with some of the companion nutrients, this woman sent in an email to Dr. Brownstein here. And she was ecstatic. Not only had her candida greatly improved and abated, but her brain fog had disappeared and she had so much more energy. So this is not for breast cancer patients at all. In fact, this also for those of us who are seeking to just improve your breast health. Now, before I move on with a couple of other things, the last 2 things I want to cover is someone was asking about alternative Supplements besides diet. So what are some alternative things that you can do besides just changing your diet, which is huge. And if you need some support with that, reach out to me. But besides shifting your diet, one of my favorite tools is Banyan Botanicals Breast Balm. This is a fantastic breast balm that you can use to not only massage to the breast tissue area, but it will also help with some of that density. Now, not significantly as much as iodine will, but I love using this. This is also a great one to use when you do your self-exams, because you're not only benefiting your tissues, but you're also being able to more easily feel any changes. Now, I personally like to add in pink pepper essential oil and frankincense to my breast balm, but I love Banyan Botanicals breast balm. Now, if you're wanting some resources for some of these things, again, don't forget to stay on to the end, and I'll make sure that you get access to my my Wellevate supplement dispensary. And as my gift to you, I will be giving you a discount there to be able to access those. The other thing that we want to talk about are definitely supplements like the Iodine Protocol, phytoestrogen, which can knock off those fake estrogens. That's a whole nother class topic, but phytoestrogen and bone nutrient supplements from doTERRA, those work together in really helping balance out, keeping balance in the hormones, which also supports healthy breast tissue. Drinking filtered water with trace minerals is super important. Getting your vitamin D from the sun, early morning and late evening. Turmeric has had a lot of studies, and not just any turmeric. You want to take turmeric dual capsules, which has the turmerones and the curcuminoids. They're dual encapsulated. So this isn't just like your average turmeric supplement. If you can see here, this is a dual capsule here. So this side has turmeric powder, the extract that you're probably more familiar with. And then the clear side here that looks like a liquid, I don't know if you can see that very well, that is the essential oil side. And they work together synergistically, but also have different benefits. Those have shown powerful results in your breast health. And then educational tools like the AO-Scan Mobile that can give you biofeedback and tell you more about what's going on in your vitals with toxins in your actual breast tissue itself, with the veins, the arteries, the tissues. You can see what's going on there. And with lymphatic supports and detoxification tools, like the Ion Cleanse Detox Foot Baths I talked about, coffee enemas, castor oil packs, and the lymphatic massage with the dry brushing. So those are all alternative things that you can do in addition to adjusting your diet. And then last but not least, before I go, someone was talking to me the other day about making sure that we talked about emotions being at the root of many issues that are going on with our breast health. And yes, emotions many times are at the root of physical issues going on in our body, and neglecting that emotional root can really be harmful if we're ignoring that part and really never getting us to true health and healing. So how do you address that root? Well, you can do things like an inner voice scan here through the AO-Scan Mobile, which, let me see if I can share my screen here. Let me see if it'll let me share my screen. Yeah. So here you can see this is access to my Wellevate supplement dispensary. I'll give you access to that, and I will include in some, I will include a 15% discount. So you're going to stay with me with that. Let me see if I can also show you. Yes, so here is the inner voice. This describes a little bit of the inner voice scan that's really going to help It'll record 10 seconds of your voice to isolate and analyze the voice tone, pitch, and the pattern of your voice to detect some specific imbalances in your emotional state. And then you'll receive some audio files for you to listen to that are balancing out those harmonics and bringing balance to your emotional state. So that's one way that you can also address the emotional state. Let me see here. I want to make sure I don't vomit on you guys. So let me look back at my notes. Of course, essential oils can also address some of those root emotional issues, or even reaching out to an emotion code practitioner, or maybe a multiple approach using multiple of those methods. So I want to leave you with a couple of things. Okay. Number one, please stop signing up or giving your money to those pink ribbon walks. Instead, share this information, share this video with a friend or loved one. It will have more impact than giving money or walking, okay? I want you to consider using an alternative to mammograms. And I want you to pick 2 of the strategies that we discussed and implement them this week. Yes? Email me, text me, let me know what you're implementing. I want to cheer you on. If you're watching this on Telegram, comment below. Let me know what the strategies are that you're going to implement this week. Now, if you're confused or you need some support coming up with a game plan or support through this process, or you have more questions, you can schedule a 15-minute call with me. I have a complimentary wellness strategy call. It will go over your specific needs and concerns, and I'll help you come up with a clear path for better breast health. Okay? Now, my gift to you, I promised I was going to give this to you. My gift to you, I need to make sure I have your email address. So either comment below, private message me on Telegram. You're welcome to email me at amy@3lifeessentials.com, or you can text me at 832-509-5093. Make sure I have your email address. I will email you the recording of this video, share with blog resources right here with the how-to video, the blog resources that I mentioned. I'll send you information about the Ion Cleanse by AMD foot detox, and how, if you're near me, you can actually receive a complimentary foot bath. So relaxing and enjoyable. And you can also receive a complimentary inner voice scan, which is a $50 value. So you definitely want to make sure I have your email address. Email me, tell me you want that information. And next up, December 6th at 7:30 p.m., right here on our Telegram channel, we're going to be discussing what the Bible says and talk about oils and spices revealed. I loved this quote by one of my clients. She said, "I declare God's word over my health every day. I seek out the right foods. I exercise as I can, and I depend on God's guidance and get a wellness exam each year." I want to end with you on that note because I want to remind you where your health is found and where your guidance is found. And I want you guys to have a great evening. Share this with a loved one and have a great evening. Bye, everybody. Let's see if I know how to, okay. Stop recording. Here we go.